Content warnings for claustrophobia, snakes, and Bambi's mom. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to Table It, a micro RPG podcast. My name is Tim, your host and editor. Table It is an excuse to get my friends to play and review micro RPGs with. In this episode, we'll be playing Broken Swords and Twisted Trials by Brandon Leon-Gambetta. You can find it in the Ultimate Micro RPG book, edited by, of course, James D'Amato. We've had a couple of these in a row. You guys are familiar with this book by now. You can find the writer at Leon-Gambetta on Twitter or on his website, BrandonLeonGambetta.com. So, I am Tim, your dungeon master this time. And in Broken Tales and Twisting Swords, a game of marching bravely into the dungeon and maybe crawling out, you will be playing heroes of a kingdom preparing to battle against the monsters who threaten your home. Play consists of a brief character creation section, which we've done already, segment, followed by 3 encounters in which your heroes will face challenges to save their home. So let's start with introducing our heroes. Go ahead and introduce both yourself and your character.
I am Cassandra Snow, they, them. I will be playing Cuts, also they, them.
Thank you. Oh, so there's other things on the character that you have
Are we doing
with.
backstory?
Let's do backstory.
Okay.
It says to introduce the characters in a few sentences.
Great. So take 2. I am Cassandra, they, them. I will be playing Cuts, also they, them. Cuts is someone who does not have a lot of life experience but thinks that they do. And they picked the name Cuts to make people afraid of them so that essentially they just wouldn't be talked to at all. They come with Cuddly the Wicked Knife and are rumored to be telepathic.
Excellent.
Alrighty. I'm Matt, he, him pronouns. I'm going to be playing Dodozan Roof Runner, also he, him pronouns. Dodozan is an extremely short individual who is known, he's called Roof Runner because he's actually won the last couple of rooftop competitions in town. I don't think that we've ever actually settled the name of the town.
Oh, Here Between.
Here Between?
I like that.
So yeah.
Okay. A couple of roof running competitions. Nice.
Your traits?
Dodozan is very, very proud of his speedy boots that he wears, and slightly less proud, or rather, how do I put this? Less loud about his sticky fingers.
All right. I'm Manny Elliott. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Finn Berrycloth, and he is the chosen one blessed by chaos magic. Finn, you see, there is a prophecy that says only someone of the Viscount Stavish's blood will be able to defeat him. So the vampire lord killed off all of his descendants, except he forgot about the descendants of when he was in bat form and slept with a very lovely female bat. And I am the last descendant of that strong and noble bat lineage. So yes, I am a 3-foot-tall fruit bat who can speak and is gifted with chaos magic.
Oh no.
So when I said, like, you know, normal D&D levels of shenanigans, not too silly, we got Bat Boy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right.
Bat person.
Oh, right. Sorry. I was thinking of the celebrity of which Bat Boys, you know, that's their uncle, Bat Boy and Bat person. All right. Thank you, Manny, for Finn. I'm a huge fan. Bat them. Manny also mentioned our evil villain, the Viscount Stavish. He is a romantic vampire. He's working on a dark ritual to bring his dead wife back to life. And we'll get more of that as we go through the story, I hope. So we are going to describe the situations and threats, and your job is to drive forward, tell stories, and win or die gracefully. As a perpetual foe, I'm really hoping that you die gracefully. So to start off with is a bit of a dangerous journey on your way to your first dungeon. I believe as heroes, you know why you're on this mission, and it is hopefully to stop the Viscount from getting his magical artifacts together.
He's on his last few, right?
He only has 3 left.
Okay, so right now we're on a race against the clock. Let's get this.
If you guys can beat him to the punch and acquire these artifacts before he gets them, then he will be able to resurrect his wife, potentially ending the world for everyone but them. The first place that you need to go is a cave. It is a geometric, natural pattern, a place that he and his wife used to hike to. And you believe there's an artifact of theirs hidden there. On your way to this dangerous rocky outcropping, you are walking on a ashy, dry creek bed, and between the town. Here between is the general land around this area. The actual town you're staying in is probably called something like Here Between's End or something like that. Oh yeah, so between dungeons the player travel, and each one says what wonders they see on the road. So I mentioned the path you're walking to this mountain is a dry, ashy creek bed. So why don't each of you give me a wonder you see along this very strange path you're walking?
I see a giant oak tree that has what is clearly a spot just big enough to hide a human body in.
God, that's what you lead with?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I was going to go close to that, so now I have to go somewhere separate. A little ways past the oak tree. You said it's a dry, ashy creek bed, right?
That's correct.
There's a spot that used to be a waterfall, and it's actually called the Giant's Throne because of the way the water carved the rock. It looks like a large throne to sit in, as it had a 2-step waterfall with bits of rock jutting up and out in that middle step.
I can give an extra detail of things that would jut out like this would probably be basalt. This area is very heavy with basalt. If you're familiar with what basalt looks like, it's got very cool hexagonal shapes. So, yeah.
There is a southern salamander that is huge, and it has a name like Hellraiser or Hellcat. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Gila monster. I'm sure.
Hellbender?
Hellbender's pretty cool.
Is that what it's called?
I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of stuff named giant salamander.
Yes. Okay. So it is a hellbender. So for those of you not from the Appalachian region of the U.S., a hellbender is a massive salamander. They're about 3 foot long. And they are they're just salamanders, but they're really big and they're usually pretty nice. But there is one that is easily 10 times that, curled up on the throne, and it is, because it's a dried out riverbed, it's like flecking skin and dry skin. Looks like it has been there for a while and is like devoid of moisture.
Oh,
Very sick.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Couple of sheds gone wrong.
Yeah.
So after walking down this weird path and seeing a creepy tree, a huge natural throne, and a probably dying critter, you come across this cliff face. And halfway up this cliff face is a large like cave that you can see. And in this cave is like 500 years ago was a good, comfortable camping spot. However, to get up there requires some rock climbing. Back then, it didn't. You can see remnants of wooden stairs that have since rotted away, and other sorts of debris. The way into this difficult to climb through pathway is a chimney. I don't know how familiar y'all are with rock climbing, but a chimney is a structure where, like a chimney, you have to climb it by using outward pressure to prevent yourself from sliding down. So the three of you put your backs to the wall, your feet on the wall, and slowly start working your way up to the point where you can start moving along the rest of the path. So this is Dungeon 1. So it's got a challenge rating of 4, and I've given it the non-game mechanic tags of chimney and geometric. So the way that challenge rating works is that each player will have threatening situations you'll have to deal with. You'll take turns clockwise from the GM, describing how you deal with the threat and whether they are acting heroically, like a brave hero in a story, or desperately, just trying to scrape by alive. By default, your traits are unscarred, representing gear or abilities that are working well in good repair, and as they become scarred, you will flip the card and write something damaged and destructed on the other side. So, Cuts, you're going first.
Yeah.
You can act heroically at this point. You don't have any scarred traits.
I don't.
So you can't at this point yet act unheroically.
Right.
So how are you heroically moving forward?
We could. We just wouldn't get any additions for it.
That's true. I guess you use your trait and you add a plus. Yes.
From the just from the description, it's your choice of if you're rolling heroically or desperately.
Yeah.
And you get the number of traits you have, either scarred or unscarred, based on which one you're picking.
Yeah. But
so if you want that +2 that you would currently
yeah.
have, you have to roll for heroically.
Well, and I believe that Cuts wants other people to think that they are very brave, so they are going to act what they are calling heroically and what I would call recklessly, and attempt to probably try to, like, I can picture it so perfectly in the cartoon in my brain, but is trying to climb up the chimney, but is like kind of jumping from like rock to rock that they can stand on.
Are you doing that Prince of Persia thing where you're like bouncing back and forth?
Yeah,
up the
that's what
chimney?
I'm trying to do,
Triangle
only
jumping, yeah.
stupidly.
I dig it.
By which I mean heroically.
Yeah, so roll 2d6 and then add 2 from your traits.
That is an 8.
Okay. So for a 7 through 9, you succeed at a cost. And describe their success, but there the GM will complement it. Complicate it.
No, it's a really good success. That's awesome.
Good job. Congratulations.
Great, now it's Matt's turn.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's just the thing. You still have to scar a trait.
Yeah, so I'm giving 1 check to the challenge rating because you succeeded. And then, so describe how you acted heroically and scar a trait. Or, that's it.
So, in acting heroically, I am using Cuddly, who is the wicked knife, to sort of cut pieces of rope that people climbing up after me will also be able to hold up to. So I'm jumping and climbing and cutting at the same time, and miraculously I get to the top with no problem.
Excellent. So you get to the top, you have a now scarred wicked knife. Mm-hmm. I think the appropriate is chipped blade.
Yeah.
So on the back of the wicked knife card, write chipped wicked knife.
Great.
Now, this might make it more wicked because now you've got horrible
like tetanus,
sawing action.
Yeah.
But also, if you're trying to cut things smoothly, then
Cuts doesn't need to cut smooth.
Okay. So
I spell cuts with a K.
and a Z.
And a C.
All right, around the table to Dodozan.
All right, Dodozan is very much experienced with this kind of thing. This is a chimney climb. The narrower alleys have this. It's quite literally find the spot where his stubby little arms will kind of reach the edges, but he's not worried as much about he can't exert the pressure because he's got sticky fingers. So he's literally just going the Spider-Man route and just Tobey Maguiring his way up the wall.
Excellent. 2d6 plus 2.
That comes out to an 8.
An 8. Okay. Another check in the challenge rating success, but you are complicating it. How would you like to complicate it if you have an idea? And what challenge rating are you scarring? So sorry, what trait are you scarring?
I'm scarring the sticky fingers.
Sticky fingers.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that without writing like broken digits.
Hi, Small Fry. Everyone's favorite podcat. Come here. Don't let Biddy hear me say that.
Control the sticky.
Well, I couldn't control it to begin with.
Well, so like sticky fingers generally refers to the fact that you are stealing things.
Yep.
But you're going up walls. You don't want them broken necessarily. But I don't know how much rock climbing you've done. I've done a bit more recently, which is why this is so rock climbing focused. As you rock climb for a while, the skin on your hands gets rubbed off. So
That's what I was thinking.
not off entirely, but thinner. So like you've got thinned.
I don't know if we want to go for thin skin. I think
Or
we're going
tore
for
up.
calloused hands or like switching from sticky fingers to calloused palms at this point.
Well, callousing takes a minute.
This is
right?
also the interesting thing is we're getting descriptive about it.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it doesn't matter what I write on
No,
here. It's
of
one
course
scarred
not.
and one is unscarred.
But that's the whole point.
Yep.
That's why we're here.
I like the idea of going for like calloused palms.
Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Calloused.
But that being said, Dodozan has made it about 2/3 of the way up.
Okay.
Come up here.
Here's another question before you start. I could give you guys new obstacles per roll. It doesn't. It just says like the GM describes what the first dangerous journey is. The hero tells the players about a threatening situation that the heroes have to deal with. It says if the no hero can roll twice in a row, and all heroes must act before a hero can act again. If the current threat is dealt with fully before the challenge rating hits 0, the DM may describe additional threats within the same location. So I
Okay,
think that's what I'm doing now. This large, you climb up the chimney. You're now in this sort of cave, and in this cave is a oh god, do I go claustrophobic or do I go violent?
Cuts votes for violence.
Violence.
I'm looking at the person who has to roll next is the one who should make the call.
Dealer's choice. I trust you.
I'm vibing claustrophobic. So, hi, Small Fray. The only way into this area now, because in the past, people would have walked up the stairs into the cave and just set up camp. Here, you guys had to scramble up a chimney, and part of the cave has collapsed, and you have to squeeze through a narrow hole at the bottom to be able to make it into the other side.
Okay.
You do have pieces of rope that I've dangled, if that helps you in any way.
Yes. Okay. Here's a question. Can I roll first and then based off of that roll describe how
Yes,
I did?
Absolutely. I believe that's
Okay.
technically what happens.
Okay, so I'm going to roll. So
I assume-
I rolled a 10 plus.
You're rolling heroically.
Yes, rolling heroically, I wrote a 6 and a 4, which is a 10.
And then plus
Plus
2.
2, which is 12.
Excellent. So you bravely look at this small claustrophobic hole, and you lay on your back, and then you squeeze through it, and with a couple gasps from your allies, you wiggle your way into the chamber, and once you're in there, you can see a couple of handy little spots to tear down the wall with bits of like metal levers that are back here.
Dope.
and you make a hole big enough for the other pair to easily, not easily, it's a cave, more easily climb into the next chamber. There is a single more, one more challenge before the end. The obstacle in front of you, Cuts, is a large automaton. It is metal. It is covered in ancient ruins, and it's glowing a sickly reddish purple color. And when it sees you, its eyes light up. The ruins around its neck light up, and then they run down in parallel paths towards its hands. It pounds its fists together and comes running at you like an MMA fighter going to do a Superman punch.
I try to somersault over it so it misses me.
Are you acting heroically or are you acting desperately?
I am attempting to act heroically.
Excellent. So roll 2d6 plus 1.
That's a 5.
Total 5 total?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So, on a 6 minus, the threat pushes forward. The GM will scar a trait or give them an injury, GM's choice, and the challenge rating doesn't drop. So, injuries are one of your... so I can scar by either flipping one of yours over, or I can give you an injury by having you draw a skull on your nameplate. And I'm going to do that one.
The skull.
I'm giving you a little skull.
Here is great news. I don't know how to draw, so it doesn't count.
I literally just have a tally sheet ready to go that's labeled injuries for this.
This is the quick skull that I always draw. That'll do too.
Nope.
Just as long as you know that you've taken one. Is this a little guy?
So
just a
for the
little guy.
listeners, it is a smiley face, but instead of a smile, there's just a horizontal line where the mouth is.
Because when you die, expression disappears.
Yep.
That's not what I learned from the Batman the animated series. Yeah,
They are
this
saying
guy
that
looks,
that's different from science now, though.
This guy looks like he is a 5 on the pain scale.
Say that.
My pain scale is completely broken. I had a 7-pound or a 7-centimeter gallstone and thought I was just nauseous sometimes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Okay, so this is completely unrelated, but they accidentally found a roller coaster that has a high rating to release gallstones. Like if you are not the other one, the kidney stones.
That is wild.
Yeah. So there's a kidney stone. I think it's Space Mountain. I might have to look this up. But there's a roller coaster that has like a 60% like increase in like kidney stone release for people that ride it. Like there's just enough shenanigans that it helps push him out. The doctor discovered it when he had one. He was like, man, I got to pass this thing eventually. And then he goes on this fucking roller coaster and it goes. And he's like, that was weird. And then he was like, I'm going to test this out. He got a bunch of people to ride this roller coaster.
Oh my God.
And a bunch of them were like, well, that got rid of my kidney stone real easily. Just like came out no sweat. So that's nuts. So if you had, look that up if you got a kidney stone.
So what you're telling me
Yes.
is that a bunch
Absolutely.
of people rode Space Mountain and just pissed everywhere.
Well, like to pass it has to get far enough out,
Yeah.
and then you piss it out.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it wasn't causing people to pee on the ride. It's just what I thought was
No,
going
just
on.
like riding Space Mountain, just pissing. Yeah,
That sounds like so
the
because
happiest place on earth.
The happiest
The
place.
happiest place. So, welcome to my magical realm. Okay, we gotta stop. Cut all of that.
Save it for the Patreon.
Yeah, save it for the Patreon. All right, Matt. Up next is Dodozan.
So I just watched this giant automaton, and Cuts was like, "We got this. ran up, went to be really cool, and then just got body slammed right back down into the ground.
There's a Jackie Chan movie where someone jumps over Jackie Chan and he kicks him in the legs and they do a horrible cartwheel and land right on their back. I think that's what happened. You went over him, he went under you, and you got dunked.
I did.
So that's what happened to poor Cuts. What is Dotazan doing?
So Cuts has a lot of rope. They were quite literally cutting pieces of it off. But I can see that little bit that's not... I can see that little bit that's still the full length. So Dotazan is just going to quite literally pull an Empire Strikes Back roll, run right under it, grab the rope, and start running circles.
I love it. Are you acting... So that is that heroically?
Acting heroically here.
All right. 2d6 plus, at this point, 1.
And yeah, that's a 10.
Excellent. Woo-hoo. Nice. All right, so that is Dungeon 1 taken care of. You slide under the legs for one final wrap around the legs, and you give it a pull. The automaton looks around at you, gives the sort of like blank expression, and then as it tips forward, it hits the floor with a big boom and collapses into empty armor. You move through the chamber, and there are a number of like half-built structures, some that look kind of like rock cabins of sorts with no roofs, and one of them, on the edge of the cliff, there's a figure standing in it. He is tall. He has a pointed collar that swoops up on either side of his neck. He turns to look at you, and you recognize in his eyes that sickly purple red color. He smiles at you, lifts up a object in his hand that's also glowing, and there's steam coming out of it. It looks like a little music box, but with this uncomfortable glow. This is very clearly to y'all, Viscount Stavish.
Hi, Daddy.
His brow furrows, and then he leaps off the cliff, disappearing from view, leaving the three of you one step behind him.
Abandoning his children again.
Well, what do you expect?
What do you mean?
I don't know. He just doesn't seem that nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill that guy. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
We are recording this on Father's Day. All right.
Boy.
So that is the end of Dungeon 1. You all get to draw a... it says the last hero to roll describes how the party escapes the dungeon.
I don't think it's an escape so much. I think it's much more well, fuck. What now? And we all do some digging around, see if there's anything we can grab. We don't take too long, but it's kind of a trudge back to town as we're all sort of like, well, there's more artifacts. Where do we go next?
You know where the next one is.
Oh. Never mind. It's a defeated trudge on the way out, taking our time to make sure we're out safely. And then instead of going back to town, it's a beeline to the direction we're going.
On the way out, I turn to the automaton and say, I'll be back for you.
I think Finn turns to you all and goes, hey guys, how about my back? And I jump out and use my chaos magic to turn into a giant bat so we can ride back to town on my back.
Or to the next...
or to wherever it is that we're going.
Or at least the ground. I don't know if you can sail all the way there. Okay,
so if it's chaos, do you have control over what it does?
No.
You're not...
So do you actually turn into a giant bat?
Well, I think I have an idea, and my intent was to jump out with you guys on my back, hoping that something would happen.
Oh, important mechanical thing. You all need to draw another trait. Did you do that already?
We did not.
you should all have.
I'm going to take one. I'm going to mix them up, take one, and pass it down.
I'm just taking the one off the top because Tim didn't touch those.
I'm going to take the one off the bottom.
Because I did touch those. Surprise, surprise.
You did, but you hadn't. They got shuffled again after you touched them.
Thematically, do we want to go over what traits you all have picked up, or do you want to like bring them up as we go?
I think mine fits very well with what I just described. So it was my plan to jump out and like get bigger wings or turn into a bird or float or something. I think what happens is with you all on my back, we just plummet straight down and I do a full-on like Goku punch to the earth. And when I stand up, I'm just like a jacked fruit bat having gained super strength.
Hell yeah.
And inexplicably, as Cuddly, the wicked knife, became chipped, it released a magic map. Which I am going to say means that I can find my way through bizarre spaces as long as I've never been to them before.
Oh. It's like the opposite. I like that.
I'll
dig
bring
it.
up mine when it shows up.
All right.
Because I'll be honest, I wrote this one hoping that it didn't go to me.
I love it. Okay, so on your walk to the next place, the pathway you have to walk through is through a rainforest. The fire that had dried up that creek that you were walking down earlier stopped at a certain point, and eventually you find yourselves crossing over that line. The rainforest on the other side is thick. You have to use machetes or whatever bladed objects you have on you to cut through. So one cool thing you all see on your way to the next dungeon. Anyone can go first. It's not specific. It's not rotating around.
So you said it's rainforest?
Rainforest Cafe.
Great.
It's not.
One of the bits that we're going through as we get there is actually a bamboo thicket.
Cool.
It's one of those weird bits like we're like, okay, it's trees, it's vines, it's lush undergrowth, and we're all trying to like make sure our footing is good, and then we look up and all of a sudden it's just these tall green shoots. Like to the point that they're thick enough that we actually have to like wedge ourselves through.
Yeah.
And one would think like you envision like those super narrow hallways that you have to go sideways through. It's like that, but you can turn at any point. No matter what you're doing, there is a way through and a way out. But it's like, okay, how do I get through here? Okay, that hooked there, so I'm looking 30 degrees to my right, and we kind of lose each other in the thicket.
That's very Studio Ghibli.
I like it.
Also very Studio Ghibli, we see an animal we thought was extinct, which is I forgot what it's called. I think it's just called the enormous sloth or the giant sloth.
Oh, a giant sloth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a giant sloth.
They're like 6 feet tall, yeah.
Yeah. And there is, like, once we get out of the bamboo thicket and back into the rainforest proper, there is a section of the rainforest where it is, in fact, raining, but it is raining up instead of raining down.
Cool. I love that. Mm-hmm. You'd have to walk around with your hand below your nose so you don't drown.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of rain. We had straight down rain. We had sideways rain. We even had rain that come up from the ground.
Well, who said that?
Was it the giant sloth?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
Sid?
it is
Sid, is
in
that
a
you?
forest.
Giant
I'm pretty
sl-
certain its name is Gump.
Yeah, giant sloth voiced by Tom Hanks. Thanks for showing by. All right, so you guys arrive at the second dungeon, the location of the watch. So,
The watch.
the watch. There's a small watch.
Okay, that's what I was trying to.
It's
figure out
not. It's
how
not
to
like
ask.
the. It's
Is
not
it
like
like
the
a
death
pocket watch, or is it like the Night's watch?
It's not like the Night Watch. No. So this is where you believe that the vampire has lost his watch, while he and his wife were at this location. This location is strange. You've never seen anything like it before. it is a maze of pathways surrounded by overgrowth, and you can't simply cut through the overgrowth because there are metal rods and cages of sorts cutting in between these areas. Sometimes there's huge sudden dips of impossibly steep terrain, and there's all kinds of animals from all over the world, either dead or way too well handling the new environment. Snakes and all sorts of horrible critters.
Oh no, Manny's least favorite.
It's fine. It's fine. All right.
So, this is a challenge rating 5.
Oof.
And on your way navigating through this maze, you come across something. You said no snakes?
Snakes are fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
All right. I think the first thing that you come across is a creature that is this is the hungriest looking lion you've ever seen.
Anyone mind if I take this one?
Go ahead.
Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Dodozan kind of creeps up, looking at this thing that's just slobbering, looking at him like, okay, you're Levinsies sized. Let's do this. Dodozan pulls up his echoing harp that he picked up. It just starts strumming it and going, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, angry lion.
I assume you're acting heroically?
Yes.
Or desperately?
I was aiming for heroically.
Okay.
And I got a 14.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah, that's a get.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, you circle around the lion, slowly playing a calming tune. The lion's eyes flicker, and his stance seems wobbly, and he lays down in the hot sun and has himself a nap. And the three of you manage to easily sneak past.
All right. Think that was it.
Be very, very quiet.
It's Wabbit season.
Duck season.
Cuts does not respond at all because being quiet is no problem for them.
So the next challenge, I think, might just be navigating.
I'm going to use the magic map and
Okay.
see. So I act heroically. I say, oh, I have this magic map. I've never been here before. This should help guide us through.
So are you acting heroically?
Yes.
Excellent.
I am heroically navigating.
8.
8 total?
Did you add 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that is a success. You have an additional tick on our challenge. But you will scar a trait.
Okay.
Which trait would you like to scar? Your telepathicness or your map?
Let's say the map.
Okay. Yeah, I think in this path through the through this maze, you navigate, you use the map, it tells you where to go. But at some point you have to crawl through this like mesh of chains and wires to get through this next thicket, and as you're scrambling through, the map catches on it and is torn in half. So you have half of a map.
Okay.
Luckily, it was the half that you needed to keep going,
Yeah.
but the map is less useful now.
Yeah. I can navigate us halfway through the next dungeon, assuming I've never been there.
So yeah, I think the scarred version is half a map.
Half magic map. I haven't really used my telepathy yet, so I gotta think about that for next challenge.
Yeah. So you are arriving at the end of this area, and I think there is a I'm just on heights today. I'm just thinking about tall things and caving. I'm on that tick. So I think the the myth of where this watch was at the top of this structure. There's basically this incredibly tall metal scaffolding reaching into the sky higher than basically anything you've ever seen a person build. At the top of it is a small structure clinging to it by a wire. The structure is about 10 feet by 20 feet, give or take, and the watch is allegedly on top of there.
Cool. All right, I got this, guys. And I crack my knuckles and I punch the scaffolding to get it to drop.
I love that. Is that acting heroically?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my super strength. It's an 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, that is 10 plus. You succeed decisively. You punch this rusting metal in its base, and you look over at the other 4 struts, and one of them is like almost rusted clean through. Another one is like bending, and the one that you punched crinkles and shakes the whole structure, and the 3 of you quickly dodge to the side as this tips, screaming metal, and it hits the ground. A huge cacophony of sounds, birds flying in every direction, and you make your way to the top of this collapsed structure.
And I crack my knuckles and I go, structure, I don't even know her. And I waddle up
Oh my god.
to
I'm moving out.
to the watch.
I'm gonna go home and pack my shit.
You open up the this like weird bulbous structure that was on the top, prying open the door, and inside you're greeted with something surprising. Okay, that was that 3 successes so far?
That was 3 out of 5.
All right. I think there is a creature inside this this thing. What critter would live in something so high and also be dangerous enough? But I think some kind of venomous snake. That's got to be it.
Imagine it like one of those like peanut cans when you open it and it
Just like
jumps out.
so many snakes coming out of this.
Yeah,
just
it's
hundreds
just
of
like-
snakes. Just,
Indiana Jones style.
yeah, just so yeah.
Oh, God. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Yeah, so there are so many snakes in this thing. Now, you two have both acted. Both
We've
Finn
all
and
3
Cuts.
acted.
Oh, you acted first.
Yep.
So okay, all right. So Dodozan, Finn, and Cuts have all gone. So any of the 3 of you can go again to handle these snakes. So many snakes.
I can't go twice.
You can't go twice. So yeah.
You know what?
Or
I'm going to take this one again,
Okay.
and I'm going to stick with the harp. And it's like, hey guys, you remember that story about the dude with the rats and the pipe? Well, what about snakes and harps? And I start like trying to like dance a little bit of a jig and like just strum randomly, like, come on, follow me, follow me, follow me.
All right. You are pulling the snakes away. Are you acting
Yep.
heroically or desperately?
Attempting to act heroically here.
Okay.
That is an 11.
Holy shit.
killing it.
There is something about this table. Y'all roll so good.
Except for Cassandra.
This is me in every game. I prep, I come ready, and then my dice are like, doesn't matter, you get it too.
I usually roll trash, but I think it helps me in this game because I can rarely roll over a 10.
I roll really, really well on camera. Let me rephrase. I roll really, really well on microphone. The folks who know me from home games know exactly how my rolls usually go.
Okay. So the snakes are charmed. You play your little magic harp. Was it magic harp?
It's an echoing harp.
An echoing harp, and you back away from this metal structure, and the snakes follow you. Before long, you are far enough away with enough snakes led out of the structure that the two left, Finn and Cuts, are easily able to climb in.
Great.
And inside, you see a small, rotting leather bag. On it, however, is a pretty chunky clasp that is rusted and fused together.
All right, time for some more super strength. And I'm going to grab it, and I'm just going to squeeze the lock.
All right.
That's an 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh my god. All right.
Amazing.
Easy peasy. You snap the lock. It's not even a lock. It's just a clasp that melted together, and you crush it in your hands. Rip it off of the bag. The bag opens up, and inside is this glowing purple red watch.
Purple red. You don't find that very often in
Isn't what that weird
watchmakings.
rock robot thing was?
Oh, yeah.
So apparently this guy likes red and purple.
Yeah, that's what color his eyes were, too.
Yeah. We're learning.
You pocket it.
Yeah.
I thought his eyes were blue and green.
Is your character colorblind or just you today?
Both.
And so you rolled last, so you get to describe how you escape this dungeon.
I think as I take the stone, we hear the sound of like skittering over like the metal structure into where we are, and I call out and I say, "Hey, Dodo-san, bring the snakes back this way," as Viscount is like scuttering over and we're running out, and I'm trying to get you to overwhelm him with serpent as we run through the maze.
Excellent. So I think you, serpents in tow, the Viscount chasing you eventually from the air.
Oh, shit.
So the question here, and I think this is a question for the table.
Uh-huh.
The soundtrack to this moment. Is this the epic horns of a torchlit cave chase scene?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Or is it the Benny Hill music?
I like the epic, I think. Yeah.
I think this is one second. I'll just quick edit this out. I can't remember what the name of this song
Can I
is.
tell you what's in my head, though, is Cuts and Finn running, like dodging under like rainforest, like fallen logs and moss and things like that, with like the vampire like flying behind us, like Winifred Sanderson in Hocus Pocus, and then just like a roiling mass of like serpents with you standing on top, playing the harp, being like.
Yeah, I think one of this.
So deliverance music is what you're envisioning.
Maybe, I don't know.
I was picturing "Lay All Your Love on Me" by ABBA, one of the quintessential castle chase music songs.
Yeah.
It's a little bit gothic, in a running beat. So,
What was the name of that song?
"Lay All Your Love on Me" by ABBA.
We don't have the rights to this.
No, I know we don't.
We can play 5.9 seconds.
Oh no, I'm not going to be playing anything. I want to listen to this after we're done.
Got it.
It's good. It's good shit. All right, so the next dungeon that you have to get to is Viscount Stavish's old manor. He doesn't currently live there. A fire burned it down. Not to the ground, but enough that made it uninhabitable. The last artifact is in there, and if you can acquire that, you can prevent him from doing his world-ending. All right, we gotta do some wrapping up. Does anyone have any plugs?
Listen to Lesser Evil. Cassandra and I are on there, and we're about to wrap our first season the next couple weeks. I don't know when this will come out, but and then we're going to start recording a season 2 soon. So listen to us. Yay.
I want to say to support the Table It Patreon at patreon.com/tableit. I also want to say that I have written a couple of books, most known for Queering the Tarot, most recently Lessons from the Empress. Pretty soon, I will be working on one called Tarot in Other Words. That is an essay anthology. So once that's ready for pre-order, which may be by the time this episode's out, follow, or what am I trying to say? Buy my books.
Buy my book.
Buy my books, learn tarot, have a great time.
Nice. Matt, you got anything?
No, not yet.
Be
By
gay,
the
do
next time we-
crimes.
Wait, what?
Be gay, do crimes. We're recording this during Pride Month, so
Yeah.
Yes.
you're all
Gay,
gay
do
now.
crimes.
I'm just going to go off that first one and say only if you actually are. Yes.
Well,
But straight up
Anyway-
do crimes.
Nope.
Anyone can commit crimes.
absolutely. Yeah.
That is the official
Be yourself, do
tape.
crimes. There we go.
Self-do crimes. All right. Well, thank you for listening. You can find us at micro_RPGs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Or you can email us at microrpgs@gmail.com. We also have a Discord. You should please join that. You can also join our Patreon if you want to support us financially. Or you can rate or review us wherever you listen to podcasts to support us non-financially. And most importantly, tell a friend about us. Our theme is Chill Vibra Jazz by Danny Dory, and we'll see you all next time.